when I bought them, I picked a size, but they give you a range for that size. So some of them were so loose they were pointless. I
Oh,
could
really?
bend my
Yeah.
finger with
Like
on.
this
Yeah,
one
yeah.
won't go any further. It'll fit on my pinky, but you can't really. But it
Okay.
doesn't fit on really any of the other.
The ring finger's
Yeah,
better.
I think like Jordan wears hers on her middle finger and goes like this, but that feels like a reach to me. So,
Yeah. Oh, she
but
wears them too? Does
yeah,
it work
she's the
for her
one that
too?
showed them to me, and then I have
Oh.
like here's another one. Like this one, there's a bunch of them, but like so this one's pretty neat. It's all Roman numerals, but it also it's another fidget spinner. But it
Okay.
doesn't. If it doesn't spin, I don't like it. This one actually spins pretty well. But I don't want to be the guy that's sitting in a room going like this.
Yeah, that
It
looks a
was like,
little
what are you doing?
weird.
As I'm in a chair, just like, tell me about your day, mother. Tell me. So
No, more like away with you. I'm done with you now. Go away. Go
yeah,
away. I've had enough of
honestly,
you.
there's really only like 4, maybe in the set, maybe 5 that are like worth wearing and using. The other ones are just like this one, for instance. It's just too stuck. Like it doesn't spin. So I
Oh.
think this is for like one, like, hold on. Like this one would probably be better if I was wearing out because this one you can't hear at all when I spin
Oh,
it
no
because
noise.
it doesn't rotate. This one again it has like a wisp to it. It sounds like a bearing spinning. So
Well, how long have you been wearing it? Using them?
yesterday,
Okay. I was gonna say give it 3 weeks and you won't need them anymore because you won't bite your
probably
nails.
not. But I realized in the car I was like this.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't have a ring, I was like, oh
Yeah,
no.
you're so used to it now.
Yeah, it's just because
Ah,
it's
you'll
so
get over it.
easy to do. But I'm a fiddler, and then, as I said, the weighted rings. These are nice just for like just taking them on and off. You don't feel that as much as this one.
Finger push-ups.
That's kind of what it feels like. But they had 5-pound rings, and I was like,
Crunches.
right. So these guitar rings, like, so I feel like this one doesn't work very well. Like they're all set 8s, right? So okay, that's the next thing I gotta get used to, not dropping them. But I think I need like a 6 centimeter one so that it ends here. You want them on the ends, right? Because you
Oh.
want the weight. So if I have it down here, there's
Oh,
really
so
no weight. Like this one, I feel because it only goes halfway.
what you could do is what your grandmother does, get the tape and
Oh,
thicken it. It won't spin, but if it's just for a weight, you
yeah,
can
this is
thicken
just
it and it'll go
weighted.
just the top.
It
Yeah, then
just
it'll just
helps
go to the
because,
top.
like, for
Plastic tape
barcodes,
is fine.
for
Yeah.
barcodes and just developing pinky strength because I've been doing a lot of finger exercises for guitar. And
Right.
now, like I've never, even though I've been playing what's essentially my whole life, I still have the pinky strength that I need for a lot of the things.
Yeah.
So,
Electric tape too.
oh, that
Black
could work.
electric
Yeah,
tape. You can
we
wrap
just
it around
add
it
the
a couple
weight.
times.
So,
Adds weight and it also makes it smaller.
yeah. So that's pretty much been my last 2 days, just doing this.
Whatever works, Chris. I'm fine with
Yeah,
it. Whatever
that I'm
works.
still using this thing. I'm at the point where I'm using everything.
Yep. Do whatever it takes. Keep
Oh,
yourself healthy.
oh yeah.
Fingers out of the mouth.
So what else, mother? What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Nothing really. Today was kind of a blah day.
Oh, I just
Yes.
opened Twitter to see what was going on, and someone in I don't know what UFC this is. I don't think it's UFC. Guy got hit in the ear, and his entire ear exploded.
Oh,
Oh, like his
gross.
whole ear is just hanging off
Oh,
from an elbow. You want to see,
terrible.
ma?
No, I don't want to see it. No, thank you.
I got some good. I got some good memes for after stream. I've been I've been grabbing some good ones for us. That I sent to
I've been
Kenny.
sending you. I don't know if you've been seeing the ones that I've been sending you early in the
It's
day.
tough for me to see them because right on this phone it's all the family stuff, and then this phone is
Yeah.
my social media. So if you send me a text and I don't have Instagram or I don't have whatever that you send it on,
Yeah.
I don't get it on this
You
phone.
gotta
So
send it
like I
over.
have to yeah. So that's why it takes me a second. But which one did
Why
you
can't
send?
you get it off your computer? You can't get text messages off your computer?
No, because I don't have a Mac. I could. There's other apps that do it, but I don't need that many
Oh.
notifications on my computer. I get enough.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to say. I usually send mine through that anyhow. I don't use my phone. I do it through my Mac or my iPad. But
Yeah, good point. Hold on, which was the one that you? I also texted Ann Sue.
see,
Would you like to do a cooking show tomorrow? And she hasn't even responded.
no, so you don't get the word of the day?
No, I do. Those I see.
Oh,
Those aren't social
okay.
media posts, but um,
Are you going to need another haircut before the wedding?
Yeah, it's my cousin's wedding. I
Yeah.
couldn't care less. Um, let's see which one. Oh yeah, the rough day at the playground. I saw that one. I saw the golf one. I would hit
That
at
was
least 7
funny.
people. I've seen that one
Yeah,
before.
yeah,
You're gonna love the ones for later.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, Mom, is this a breaking news day? Is this a day of just breaking news?
It feels
Because
like old news now because it started
it
at three
happened this
o'clock this
morning.
morning.
Yeah.
So
So, I feel like the scary thing is, Mom, I feel like, I don't know if you told me or someone we know told me, like, I hear rumblings that the U.S. is going to do something to Iran this week. Was it last week you literally said on the podcast, I'm hearing rumblings about something to happen on Tuesday? And now, I mean, obviously it's end of the week, but now this bomb happened. So I'm starting to be
well,
scared.
I
Are we
mean, always
calling things? Are we omnipotent?
no, I think people knew. I mean, it's no, we did talk about it because we said it's probably going to happen because he's got so many ships in place. I mean, we talked about
Right,
peace through strength, and I don't know that he'll have. Hopefully, he won't have to do anything, and they'll
right.
just cave. But apparently, they wouldn't. They wouldn't give up their nuclear program the way he wanted it done, and they'd had enough of waiting. So,
Right. For those of you who live under a rock and haven't been, or those of you who are working today, let me put it in a better way. For
yeah.
those of you who were working today and didn't see the news, the U.S. and Israel joint bombed Iran in Bahrain, right? Where the world leader, one of
I
the
think Tehran also.
Taiwan.
Tehran
Okay, so
too.
2 places.
The capital.
Um,
All over. I think it's been happening all over.
killing the leader of Iran, the supreme leader, and his son and daughter-in-law, right? Because they're all bad people. Um,
There are other leaders too who have been killed.
right.
Strategic people, I should
Yeah.
say.
So, could you call it a full-scale bombing or a bombing just enough to get rid of the people that we needed to? But this is, it sounds weird to say, but this is kind of a good thing, right? I mean, these are people that killed 30,000 of their civilians, and we said, hey, don't do it, and they did it, and then plus the nuclear stuff going on, like them not refusing to give up their nuclear program. They kind of had it coming, right? Is that fair to say? I think at this point.
Well, I mean, we've given them ample opportunity to negotiate. They've tried to go to the table. They've had Trump
Yeah.
said, I think,
I
two
mean,
others, Kushner maybe and Whitaker. I don't know if they were involved.
yeah, you know who also
What
went though, and I was a little, Kirk's wife went.
Erica Kirk.
Erica Kirk, thank you. I don't know if we
I didn't
need
hear
her. Yeah, why is she doing? I'm seeing a little too much of her. I think I can speak for a lot of the conservatives and Republicans. Listen, I understand. Your husband was a hero. You are the wife of a hero. I don't need to keep seeing you, right?
Yeah,
Because
I didn't hear that, so
yeah,
I don't have a comment about it.
we'll get to the State of the Union later, but like, even they did a standing ovation for her. He had a whole like 10 minutes on her. I'm like, geez, even I'm starting to get tired of this lady. No offense,
Right.
but it's like, yeah, I don't know. That's a weird one
Well,
to me.
this is the first State of the Union since Charlie Kirk was killed.
Right, but
Right. So
okay,
it encapsulates the whole year. So,
okay,
normally he does a State of the Union every once a year
hmm,
to the joint sessions of Congress and the Supreme Court, and the military, and they all show up.
right.
So I think Charlie's Kirk. Funny how much has happened since then. It seems like a long time ago, but really it was within the year
This was
that
then six
he would have
months,
to address it.
right? That
Yeah.
was September,
Don't go by my
maybe
mind.
October. I
Don't
don't
go by
even
my
remember.
brain.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird one to me in the sense of I'm getting a little like she's not a politician, she's not a government official, but somehow she's doing. It's the equivalent of Dennis Rodman going to North Korea.
Well, I mean, she's the next person in charge of TPUSA.
I guess,
his
yeah. Which is
his
falling apart.
organization, which is growing exponentially since his death.
It's
And
weird. It's growing, but the insides of it are not. So, like, again, whether you side with Candace Owens or not, she's definitely unraveled some things about TPUSA that makes me really question what was going on behind the scenes that they tried to hide from Charlie. It seems like a lot of the people on that team are a little questionable. So,
I have no opinion on it because I gotta tell you, it's so non-essential to me given all
Right.
the other major things going on in the world right now,
True. True.
that the mere fact that we're going to overanalyze an organization like TPUSA when we've had, USAID and all these other nefarious groups that have been ripping the whole country off for, I don't know,
Yeah,
decades
like
now,
the
that the
Somalis
least of
and
my
the
concern is to put a magnifying glass on TPUSA, you know?
right.
So,
Um.
Turning Point USA.
So let me bring it back real fast to the bombing today. So good thing these their leaders dead. Who I'm sure a lot of the Iranian people are happy. Uh, the family being dead. Now, do we have to worry about a full scale war here, Mom? In the sense of someone's going to retaliate, right? Now it can't be Iran that retaliates, but I know China
Well,
released something
Iran has
today.
already retaliated. They've been sending missiles
Yeah, to the
all
U.S.
over the Middle
embassy.
East,
Hmm.
and that's why early this morning Saudi Arabia was pissed off because they're claiming Iran one of their missiles hit them,
Yeah, the
and Iran saying it wasn't us. So you got all that going on because now it's the
who else
fog of
could it
war.
be?
Where well, it could be an Israeli missile that got went in the wrong direction, kind of thing, or a U.S. missile that hit them. So you'll have a lot of that.
Can you
They call it fog of war.
miss that badly nowadays? Can you miss that badly that you're
I
in the
don't
wrong country?
know. I guess it depends on what type of missile, and there's always that question of who. Oh, and by the way, sometimes they purposely release it and claim somebody else did it to cause
Right,
problems, right? I mean,
right,
that's they'll spin their wheels trying to determine who did it. But my understanding from the president of the United States is there will be no boots on the ground.
right,
We may have casualties, but I think this will be a 2 weeks, is what he's saying, a week of nonstop bombing to basically bring them to their knees.
right,
And if necessary, through cutting off shipments. I mean, we've got ships all surrounding that whole area.
right,
And just that, I think, just squeeze them. What does help, if you will, or the timing of it with the civil unrest that's been going on in that country, it's an opportunity that he's giving the Iranian people to take over that country and run
right.
it the way they want it to be run.
Can I take the Democratic side for a second here, in the sense that this is the argument right now? Does this count as right? One of the things that Trump ran on was no new wars, right? So
Right.
unfortunately, a lot of wars happened that we didn't start. But could you make the argument that this was one that we're kind of starting, in the sense of, I mean, just having a nuclear program isn't exactly a means of war. So us bombing their nuclear program and telling them to stop, does that lead into a war? Like, to me, in my opinion, like, not taking the Democratic argument, it's just like a war to me is when two countries who are of equal like level are fighting each other, right? So like when people say we're going to go to war with Venezuela, it's like, well, there's no war because the U.S. has the military might that we could end it in a day. Unlike with Russia or China, if we went to war with them, that would be a long-lasting war, right? But
Well, I
Iran,
mean, that doesn't really. Your argument is weak in the sense that Russia just. I'm sorry, just rolled into Poland, which was an act of war because he promised up, down, and sideways to Chamberlain that he was going. Was it Chamberlain, that he would not advance beyond certain boundaries, and he just rolled in. He didn't even have to shoot. He just the Nazis moving in and taking over that territory and claiming it. So an act of war doesn't necessarily have to be equal powers. It's just an aggressive act from one party and the other.
okay, like to me,
Difference
a
being,
war is
this
boots
is
on the
not.
ground, soldiers fighting each other, like that. That to me is war, right?
Well, no. Again, Japan bombed us at Pearl Harbor. That was an act of war, and FDR went to Congress and said, "I want," or it was an attack on us, forcing FDR to go to Congress and say, "I we need to retaliate against the Japanese." And Congress voted and said, "Absolutely, we have to go to war with them because they attacked us." So it wasn't no boots on the ground. They did it by air. Um, there are different ways of attacking. That's why some people make the argument that you could have financial wars where countries
Right.
do nefarious things with our finances to cripple us. There's many ways now. It's called kinetic war when you're actually fighting, where
Right.
there's bullets and hand-to-hand combat. But sometimes you don't have to have that. In this case, he's not calling it a war. We're not calling it a war. It's a strike, to bring them to their knees because of negotiations, and they were warned that if they don't follow through,
Right.
we will do targeted, just like we did in Venezuela. And guess what? If you recall, when he went into Venezuela, oh, we're going to be at war, and the Democrats and the Republicans like he has to come to Congress. You can't just the president just can't do war, and there was no war after. So they all got crazy, and it was a very successful mission in that they extracted somebody with
Sure.
minimal damage to the country and the citizens.
Here's what I will say though, and this kind of goes to what you just said about, oh, it has to go through Congress and blah blah blah. I feel like if that went to Congress, Maduro would have fled, and like information gets out. Like the fact that you knew last weekend that we were going to do something to the Iranians this week kind of goes to show that too much information gets leaked and certain things can't happen. So I feel like by not saying like the Venezuelan stuff and just doing it as, I guess you can call it an executive order, I would say that that's for a good cause. I think that was the right decision. Otherwise, we might have never got Maduro.
Well, I think I don't know the argument that was made for the bombing of Iran. I think it was similar to Venezuela in that it was a strategic hit, and there were reasons behind it. There was a time when you go to Congress, and as I said, Japan wanted us to get into that war. They goaded us into it, so it was important that the president make a statement through Congress that we need to do this. And Congress voted, of course, we were just attacked.
Right.
In this case, and they're already talking about war power resolution. So already the Democrats are scrambling for war power resolution. If you recall, they tried to do that with Venezuela also. And it turned out to be another dud because we didn't need it. We didn't
Right.
continue with military action. And I think that's the goal of this president. Iran is a little bit more nefarious, a little bit more dug in than Venezuela in the sense that this has been going on for, I don't know, decades now of them attacking us, slapped on the hand, doing sanctions, and we move on. And in this case, Iran and the Western Europe agrees they cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, I think
They just
even
can't have it.
I think it was the UK today also said that they are. I forget if they said they were pulling out of helping, or no, they said they are going to war with Iran. Right? They're going to start getting rid of them as well. Like they're trying to defend
I
against
don't
Iran
know
or
if they
whatever.
said anything other than, we support the efforts, or they I know Canada agreed with what we did, and or back what we did. Australia does. Most of the Western world does. Once again, the United States has to do the dirty work, right?
Right.
Once again, they're behind us and we are the shield and the sword.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They talk a good game, but when push
Push
comes
comes
to
to
shove,
shove.
we're the ones that have to use the power to do it, and our president will take the knocks for it, and many of those people will complain if it takes too long, even though it's not their warships, not their soldiers, not their, in jeopardy, and it won't necessarily cost them. Having said that, as far as I know, most of the Western leaders support what's going on.
Right.
It makes sense, especially what you're saying. You don't want it to drag on. It's not that nobody wanted to go to war, and most people don't want to go to war. We're not none of us nobody wants to
Say that
put
to
their sons and
Zelensky.
daughters.
Did you see what Zelensky said today or yesterday about
No,
how
I
he's like
don't.
ready? Man, let me tell you, and not to change subjects real fast, but it's almost like Zelensky. Here's what's going on in Ukraine. Basically, Zelensky's run out of help because everyone's like, "Hey, this war, you're not winning this war." So he's like, "Let me just push for a World War III and bring everyone into it, so you don't have a choice." So he's like, "Yeah, this is World War III. It's starting," and I'm like, "Hey, Zelensky, you got to give it up, man." I think everyone in the world's like, "Hey, just give it up. It's done."
Well, I mean, he's getting money and he's getting arms from the dolts in Europe who
Right.
feel like they have to support him against the evil Putin. Whatever. The turning point was, well, I think it's a major impact when the president of the States says, "You know what? That's your problem. Then you don't want to come to the table. You don't want to come in good faith and try and end this thing." And he's right. We have no skin in the game. Not sending troops over. I think we've sent them money and some military gear, whatever. But obviously now our attention has been on Venezuela and now Iran and Cuba. Who's looking to do a quiet regime change in Cuba. Um, so, it's similar to what we said 2 years ago. Z- Ukraine's not my problem. I really don't care. We need to fix our own border, which we're in the process of doing. And that was such a shit show from the beginning. But back to Iran, this was an opportunity because the people wanted change and they were
Right.
rising
Well,
up,
it was getting so
let
bad
alone the
with the
fact that,
riots. Like the riots changed everything. When it went from, well, the protests to start, but when it went from like we finally get a head count of how many people were dead, it was like, oh, what, 200 or like whatever, and then the next day it's like, no, it was 30,000 people are dead because the
yeah, I
military
mean,
turned against them. So
right, they're just slaughtering the people, the protesters and whatnot.
yeah,
And to their credit, there is still a resistance and a movement, and something like this, it's almost like we're giving this to you on somewhat of a silver platter, the strength of
right,
America, and not because we want necessarily regime change, even though it does benefit of us, because you can't work with the Ayatollahs.
yeah.
Their only goal is,
When they're
and
in Congress saying death to
same thing
America,
with North.
like
It's Right, it's the same as North Korea. These are nothing countries. Their people are starving, or they have no other than oil. And we talked about this last time. Oil is not as big a deal for the U.S. anymore.
right.
So they have really nothing other than we want a nuclear weapon and we want to point it at Israel. It's like holding a knife to a hostage and forcing everybody to do your bidding.
Well, I have to say,
And
Mother,
Trump's been very clear.
I don't like how you're talking about Kim Jong Un because they just had their election today, and he must be doing something right because he won 100% of the votes.
I'm supposed to win 110%.
Did you
Right?
see that? I was telling Uncle that today because we were
Yeah.
talking about it, and he was like, "Yeah, he's doing
Yeah.
something right." um, but
See, I want to say the last like 20, 30 years, there was this idea that, okay, instead of peace through strength, what we'll do is we will weaken ourselves. And by weakening or having a weaker posture, that will enable all these lowly nations, or it's like saying to the bully, I'm not going to fight you. And hopefully the bully will become a nicer person.
yeah,
But what happened is the bully didn't become nicer. They said, screw America, we're going to run all over them. And we took it. So now, this idea, which I support, of peace through strength, we are becoming a stronger nation, hopefully economically and militarily. We're fixing our military, all that stuff. When you have that, you don't have to go into long term wars.
right,
So finally, this president happens to agree with what many people in this country have said. America has always been at its most prosperous and has had the most positive influence in the world when we had strength. So, yeah, build up the military, build up our economy, build, 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 make it stronger. And now you're seeing that, Venezuela was a victory, not just because we took out a guy, but we didn't lose life. We didn't
right,
have to put boots on the ground. We didn't have to do a lot of things because we're a strong nation, right? And we hope. And same thing in Iran. Hopefully, it'll be nonstop bombing, military strength, bring them to their knees, and at a minimum, continue to cripple their nuclear program so that the people of that nation, and you know what, honestly, they will need some help too, just like the Venezuelans, because they don't have anything else, or everything was owned by the government. And now for the people to make a go of their country, how many more jobs can Rubio do? How many countries can Rubio
I
help
saw a
out?
video. I
Hopefully,
saw
but
a
they don't
video
live
today.
there.
I saw a meme today of Rubio in the chair, right? And he's like sitting there. He has his full Iranian suit on, as if you like the turban and everything. Is this Rubio preparing
Yeah.
for another job?
Yeah.
um, speaking
I
of,
saw one when
oh,
they had the
God.
snowstorm. They had a picture of him outside pushing a snowblower. Oh, Rubio got another job. He's plowing the White House.
That makes sense. Um, speaking of border, I think we have to talk about Mexico. What happened this week in Mexico? This happened like right after
Yeah.
we finished podcasting last week, right? I think Sunday or Monday was when, probably Monday, the news got out that El whatever Mucho Libre,
Mancho?
whatever. I won't
It
even.
was El
It's
Mencho.
Mencho,
No,
but
Mencho.
I don't feel
Yeah.
like he deserves. Um, I don't feel like he deserves any recognition. But I mean, to say the least, Mexico kind of went up in flames this week because allegedly, right? To start, allegedly the U.S. took out one of the leaders, which ended up not being true. Basically, what happened was the U.S. gave intel to the Mexican army, specifically the police force, and they got the guy. So the U.S. just gave intel, but the titles, the news titles, were all America took this guy out, which just wasn't true. But
Mm,
I also didn't realize this guy was a real piece of work. Like his gang
yeah.
is like the worst of the worst gangs. They'll kill children in front of their parents, like stuff
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
So just
Hmm.
an awful dude. I'm sure there's a special place in hell for that kind of guy. Did you see how they caught him though? Which is crazy.
I'm trying to remember what the story was. I don't remember. Go ahead.
OnlyFans model, right? He was like, oh
Yes, that's
yeah,
right. That's right.
the
Something
OnlyFans
about a
model.
girlfriend I
Yeah,
saw, or
yeah,
a prostitute
basic,
or something.
yeah. So she's a OnlyFans model who was quote unquote seeing him, right?
Yeah.
And the U.S. government was like, listen, we know that you're seeing this guy. Do what you're gonna do, but we're gonna be waiting for him
Yeah.
outside. So they go meet, do their thing, and then he comes out, and then right there, they were ready for him. So I think
Yeah.
she's in America now under like uh what's it called?
He's in that cage that they have for Wolverine.
Who? What?
Remember that in the Marvel Heroes, the box where you can't. He's like suspended in space.
Oh, yeah, but okay.
I mean,
Well, he's dead, but
I'm
she's
kidding. I'm
yeah,
kidding. But,
she's in what's it called? Protective custody, right? So, what
oh,
was it called?
her.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I believe she's a Mexican influencer, OnlyFans model, I should say. And then when she helped the government, they gave her
Yeah.
like
She's a
special
dead
privileges.
woman in Mexico, is what she is.
Right,
She's
that's
dead
what I
woman
mean. Like she
walking.
has to
So,
get, yeah, she'll never go back to Mexico, I don't think. But
well, I
also, I
mean,
don't think
she's
anywhere is going. I don't like Puerto
yeah. No, she's
Vallarta.
not safe here either.
Yeah,
She's not safe here either because our prisons are filled with these gangs, and they're connected. It's like they're
right, but
part of
she's not
Mexico.
going to
That's
prison, right? She's not going to prison.
no, I know. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
saying
yeah.
that the outreach of these cartels,
If anything, she's a
to
goddamn hero,
naively
mom.
say, "Oh, oh,
If
well,
any,
yeah, I
these
think so." I
OnlyFans
mean,
models, everyone go subscribe to her. Help her.
yeah, right. Oh my
um,
god.
but so I think she's in America. There's also a streamer that knew where he was, a Mexican streamer who actually allegedly gave information that helped. But I think they're both in America now on green. Like I think at that point, I think you just become a U.S. citizen. You know, I think they're like, hey, you
And
got rid of
I'm
him.
telling you, Chris, it doesn't matter. That's the
Yeah,
sad part. I mean, especially with our
I
open
like to have
borders the
hope.
last 2 years, they're all over now, and Democrats are fighting hard to make sure we don't remove them.
Yeah. Well,
They're
again, we'll get to
going on a
that.
sword. Right. I
Yeah.
mean, who knows of these individuals that came over the border are connected, and what we're finding is that's very common for young people to be involved in these gangs, and nobody wants to talk about it. But it's as prosperous here, unfortunately, as it is in Mexico. I'm not so sure there's a distinction anymore, especially in our southern border states. So even though she comes to America, she's still, you know, touchable. They can still get to her.
Yeah.
And Mexico, like these cartels, to your point, they are. I've heard writers talk about them. Like the brutality of them makes like Hitler look weak.
Yeah.
They're just brutal. You will use anything and anyone to make a point, and there's no stopping them. And they are a cancer in Mexico that has spread all over, this side of this hemisphere,
Yeah.
and it really needs to be taken down.
And
And if
that
you have to go to the
lady,
source,
the president, I mean, she's just owned by him. Like, that's obvious. She's trying to sue Elon right now for saying that on Twitter. It's like, how do you sue? What? He lives in America. He's got freedom of speech.
mm.
You don't have control over that. So, anyway, but
Well,
like
you can sue somebody in
for
international court for
defamation, but
defamation. There's
yeah, good
some
luck.
if you can't prove that. But yeah, I mean, and you know what? She's not alone. Many countries, it's the oligarchs, the rich, the elites that put the person in place who runs the country. That we know that happens.
Right.
It's happened to some extent in the U.S., but the level of crime that this country is representing and going through at this point, now it's blown up in terms of she can't even control it.
Right. So, what I also forgot to mention is, and I don't know whatever happened to this, so maybe you have the news on it, but when this happened, the cartels took over airports and started taking American hostages who were tourists. Do we know what happened to them?
I haven't heard that, and I think
Okay.
Trump would have been making a bigger deal about it,
Okay,
so
good
it
point.
might have
Yeah.
been yeah,
Misinformation.
it might have been like I don't think that would have lasted long with our current president, I assure you,
Right.
but
It's kind of a shame because we used to go to Puerto Vallarta, and now it's just like not possible. You just
I know
can't go
somebody
anywhere
who
to
just
Mexico.
told me she's going to Cancun
Oh,
next week. I go, "Are you insane?"
she's dead.
And she even said, "Yeah, we booked it a while ago." So I'm like, "Oh,
Who was
you gotta
this?
be safe." Just somebody I know. I don't wanna talk about it on the
Well,
air,
we're
but
not we're not live. I can delete it.
well, doesn't matter. I'm just saying that
Okay.
it's there are people that do it. It's kinda stupid, and I'm just like, you know, you gotta be really careful now. You're an American citizen, you're a target. I don't know why you would do that, you know?
Yeah.
Hopefully, they'll
Cancun. Who's going to
maybe stop
Cancun?
them from going.
Um.
Oh, yeah, the Puerto Vallarta airport, I saw that at the beginning, that they were taking it over, and
Yeah.
I forwarded to somebody and said, "Oh, yeah, this is the lovely vacation
We've been to that
place we
airport. Yeah.
go to."
Yeah.
Many
Well, right.
times,
We
many
used to
times.
go for our viewers. We used to go there every year, and then once they started mounting machine guns on the top of the hotels, that's when we were like, "Hey, probably shouldn't go back to Puerto Vallarta anymore. It's getting a
Yeah,
little unsafe." So, man,
yeah.
that was like what, almost 15 years ago, probably.
One night we went so our hotel, there was a giant because they were building it up when you kids were little, and
Right.
they were putting up all these high-rise hotels and resorts, and they were enormous when you do it, like an Atlantis, that size.
Hmm.
So, we went to a restaurant, remember the Mikado?
Oh yeah,
The
I
the
remember the hibachi
okay,
place. Oh yeah,
right, that
with my
was
fried
in the
ice
bottom of
cream, I
one
could never forget.
it was at the bottom of another hotel, and we
Mhm.
were at one, and in between was this giant strip of land that they were all overgrown, that they were gonna build another resort in, right? So, you guys somebody was little because I was pushing a carriage, it might have been your middle brother, and
Oh,
2 of us decided to leave because it was getting late, everybody was still talking and eating, and we're like, "Come on, the babies wanna go to bed, I gotta go." So we decided to walk back on our own, and you gotta walk it is on the main street, but you gotta walk past this overgrown, fenced in, basic mini jungle, where you get from
yeah.
one hotel to the next, and it was bright out, it wasn't nighttime, but I just remember walking and feeling, like, very creepy and saying to one of your aunts, I think it was, that, I'm like, "This really isn't very safe right now, is it?" Because here we are, 2 American women pushing our children, and even back then, I always felt like we're freaking targets down there.
Yeah.
Anybody could take us at any time and threaten whatever for money or whatever. So, especially when we would go into town, if you recall, and then all the children would come up begging for money.
I don't remember the town. I was too young, but no, begging for
Yeah,
money, I
you
would
were
have
little.
kicked those little shits. Thank God.
No,
If I was a little older, I'd be like, oh, I'd dangle a dollar in front of me, like, oh, you want this?
well, I did it once, and after that, I'm like, I don't need to go to town anymore. I don't
Yeah,
need the cultural awareness of the
yeah.
town. I'll stay at the resort by the pool. I don't need all
I
that.
was getting
But
shanked by
that
a
was
3-year-old.
okay. Again, you're 30. You were under 10 at the time, so that's how long ago it was.
Yeah.
And it was very pretty back then. It was a beautiful area. It was a shame to see it go down and to see it recently. I'm like, boy, they really screwed. The one good thing they had going down there in Mexico was the tourist
Hey, but the
business.
prices right now are probably sick.
Well,
The
that car you
price.
can get cheap.
Yeah. Oh man, those were fun vacations though. It's funny.
That one's for sale.
But yeah, I mean that I felt like that was kind of a big nothing burger in the sense of right now all of a sudden it's done. Like they're like, okay. Cartel's had a week of destruction, and then they're like, okay, we'll go back to what we were doing. We'll just put someone else in charge. So
Well, I mean, I think a lot has to do with the fact that our border is more secure than it's ever been before,
yeah.
and that matters. I think it might have been more of a mess if our border was still open and we had I mean, they're still finding people in the southern states walking around with machine guns. It's like, who are these people? Cartel people. Even though the border's closed, they're still finding ways, it's like guerrilla warfare. Still finding ways to get into this country to smuggle people in. But I think we've done a good job of closing down all those major gaps where they are flooding in. And that's put a damper on, they're just not getting the immediate inroads to our country like they used to.
Right. So yeah. Anyway, what do we want to do from here? I mean, I don't know. Do I have anything on the State of the Union? I mean, the State of the Union. I mean, can we talk about Trump's absolute checkmate that he had on these people, those Democrats? So first off, world record State of the Union lengthwise. It was 107 minutes, I believe, and he's just breaking. He has like the top 5. I think he's got, I think 8 of the longest ones or 6 of the longest ones, and the other 2, basically from least or shortest to longest, it's Trump, Clinton, and then Trump. And the newest one is like the number 1 longest. It's an hour and almost 2 hours, and he hit everything. Right, yeah. 2 hours is a little too long for a State of the Union. I saw someone compare it to Nixon during the whole Watergate incident, and his was only 27 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
let's talk about the State of the Union back then.
Now, again, love him or hate it, this is something I will say is a little against Trump here. I don't like how much of a spectacle everything is. So, as I said in the beginning, the Erica Kirk stuff, right? The hockey team is there, right? And he gives the hockey player, the goalie, like some the highest end medal a civilian can get. It's like, why? I feel like that just kind of brings down.
Because he was freaking awesome. That's
true.
Why.
I'll give you that, but I don't know if it awards you a medal of that, the highest medal. All that does is lower the standard of the medal, in my opinion. Right? So.
Well, it's because you're un-American.
Yeah. I mean, good for him. Don't get me wrong, but it felt like a little bit of a spectacle. But that's kind of besides the point. Everything. I mean, you probably know more about the State of the Union because I didn't watch it all the way through. I just saw the highlights. So if you want to, the big highlight is when he just absolutely trashed the Democrats in such a tactful way. But go ahead if you have anything to say on it. I just want to get some water.
I mean, I didn't watch all of it. I saw chunks of it. I got the gist of what it was about. And it was your typical State of the Union where you do a rah-rah of, I've done all these wonderful things, and, the other side is not working hard to help us kind of thing, which they always do, and then they bring their guests in. I didn't have a problem with the guests, but it was very interesting how well he highlighted the disparity between what the Democrats are working against and what he and the party are working for.
Yeah.
I would like to see the party in general, including the president, do even more of what are the Democrats doing for you? I know they're doing a lot against me, but what are they doing for you? And I think any president should always ask that question, especially when you're going into a midterm elections.
Right.
And people talk about losing the House and the Senate. Mainly the House, what are they doing for you? Because everything about them is just thwarting the current president and the Republic and everything that's good, or we're trying to fix in America, or we're trying to. The irony is things that they always supported, now they don't. And it's very blatant. How many things have you seen of Pelosi lately talking about how tariffs are wonderful in 1990? She's the whole thing about tariffs. We need more tariffs. Tariffs are great.
And now they're
when they flash back, they compare Obama's ICE to Trump's ICE. It's just such a blatant hypocrisy, which always happens, in politics, but they don't even try to hide it anymore. They will literally say, if he's saying black today, we're going to say white. That's fine.
Last night, Trump.
But how does white or how does your argument better our country? Nobody's asking that. It's or putting that on them. And I think he did a pretty good job of highlighting how horrible they are.
Yeah. So
they don't stand for anything that is un-American.
Can you see my screen, Mother? Because this guy does a
yes,
very good job. Yeah. So
yes.
W. Smith show. I don't follow him on TikTok or anything, but he goes through the. I mean, he just says it so well. We'll watch this together. Hopefully he doesn't
all
mind
of his
if I
political
use it.
opponents with this single move.
One of the great things about the State of the Union is how it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe.
I love that the camera is on this guy because this summarizes the entire dynamic. You see him perk up like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, no. Is this really about to happen? Yes, it is. He's embracing the concept of show, don't tell. At the last State of the Union, they realized this worked really well, so they just fine-tuned it, amped it up. He begins by setting the stage.
Because we finally have a president who puts America first. Put America first.
He then introduces a policy change that Congress is not going to be able to engage in insider trading anymore. This forces them to concede.
They stood up for that, I can't believe. I can't believe it. Did Nancy Pelosi stand up if she's here? Doubt it.
Trump then doubles down on show don't tell by using example after example after example.
Delilah Colton was only 5 years old in June. Elizabeth Medina was supposed to perform in her town's Christmas parade.
His opponents will claim these are just anecdotes. Yes, but they're anecdotes that could have been prevented. And there's no denying that. These things happened. Their family is there in the room. He already knows they're not going to stand, but he then begins to bait them in just to ensure the outcome.
Omar.
And it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates, rent, taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. We will take care of this problem. We're going to take care of this problem. We are not playing games.
Now the stage is set. He moves in for the kill. I've never seen anything like this in a State of the Union.
One of the great things about the State of the Union is how it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe. So tonight I'm inviting every legislator to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle.
He's so nervous. He's literally biting his fingernails.
If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
Would anyone deny that, regardless of how you feel about Trump? Rather than pointing out they're not standing up, he's requesting that they stand up to show support for something.
Not a single Democrat stands up. Maybe Fetterman. Fetterman might have stood, but...
There's a couple, but...
Yeah. But if that's not a kick in the face... I mean, that's pretty much it, but we can watch it out.
No, but that basically is the whole gist of what
Now
he
he
did,
waits
and,
and lets it sink in.
Yeah.
It's difficult to believe that half of the government could be so stupid to allow themselves to fall into this trap. A lot of thought went into how to phrase the wording of this. It was designed to trap them, and it did. It was worded perfectly. I mean, just look how long this went on for.
If that doesn't make a Democrat, like a
I wish the
moderate
cameras
Democrat,
had focused.
go, hey, why is this my party? Like, that is such an eye-opener for if I was a Democrat, seeing that none of them are standing up and that you just told me that you're going to put illegal citizens over me. Or, sorry, illegal citizens. Illegal immigrants over me, an American citizen. I mean, I don't know how you still vote for that party, right?
Well, this is how they've been all along, but he finally not only put a point to it, but he just gave virtually every Republican in a swing election for the midterms their advertisement right there.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So for all those independents out there who can't decide if they want to reelect Mark Kelly to, what is he, a senator? I can't remember. I think he's a senator. You want to so run that ad. Because remember, he didn't stand up for you. He stood up, or he sat down when the president asked a very simple question.
Yeah.
Could have been Obama asking it. Could have been anybody. And we've always assumed that you're always going to stand for that. That's how far adrift this party has become.
Yeah, and right, I just can't see them winning an election anytime soon because Gavin Newsom, did you see his big fumble the other day of
Well, just be careful, Chris. They are winning. The Democrats are still winning in local, like in the local elections.
Okay, well,
they've taken over seats. But that's why it's so important when we talk about gerrymandering.
Right.
And you're starting to hear more rumblings, not just Georgia now with election issues. Now you're finding in Michigan they're having election issues. Where I think it was Minnesota, where there's been blatant issues coming up with proof now. They're very nervous about Georgia because of the machines and the fact that Tulsi Gabbard was involved in it as the national security, meaning the machines may have issues, foreign influence in our elections. Right. That changes a lot. And like we said, it's all about how do these people get reelected every year when 80% of this country wants voter ID?
Right. And I think they just pushed for that, right? Now I think you have to have voter ID, right? Isn't that 2 weeks ago they just passed that? Or is that still
No,
going
it
to the
needs
Senate?
to go to the Senate.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure where
And
we
the
were on that.
leader of the Senate, Majority Leader John Thune, is not listening to 80% of this country, which tells you there's something more going on here.
Right.
He will not go to the they call it the talking, debating filibuster. He won't allow that, doesn't think it's going to work, blah, blah, blah. And the SAVE Act, which was passed in the House, is now going in front of the Senate. And the president has said, I will consider an executive order if I have to get voter ID in our elections.
Right. But what I was saying, just because I want to highlight Gavin Newsom's stupidity, right? This week, he did some kind of press conference. Remember, this is a guy running for president, and is probably the Democrats' only hope for a president, a Democratic president. He's like, I'm a 900 SAT guy. Truth is, I can't even read speeches. Did you see this?
Oh, yeah.
And then it shows back. People are like, well, 2 years ago, you said how great your education was and how smart you were and how good you did on your SATs. So, I mean, that guy, he's just a bucket of, it's like a pathological liar, right?
Listen, Kathy Hochul in New York had the same derogatory comment towards minority students in relation to computers. She still got reelected in New York.
Ugh.
You can't help these people. I mean, there's just some people who they just, either they don't hear it because they're not looking at the news sources, or they're just, numb to the fact that this person just insulted you to your face. I will say this about Newsom. There is a lot of backlash from that.
Okay, good.
He took it too far.
All right, let's switch it up. Let's go to your Epstein stuff. What's this? Oh, yeah, the State of the Union.
Oh, I just wanted to highlight, not a big story, but we were talking about the State of the Union, and I said, I got to bring this one. And we covered it, just how extreme they've become. Ro Khanna, some Republican was saying, of all the Democrats out there, he's probably the most, I forget how to put it, level or interesting one, or the most probable one to go far in the party. Who does he bring as his guest? One of the underage girls for Epstein who recruited other young ladies or young girls for this man.
Hold on. Ro Khanna, I'm a little confused. Who's Ro Khanna? Is he a Republican or a Democrat?
He's a Democrat.
Okay.
I don't think he's a senator. I can't see the article.
So he's the Democrat that they say is level?
Some people just go, you went too far. Yeah, representative. He's in the House, and he's from California. And some
that makes sense.
People on both sides have said, oh, you know what, he's not the crazy Democrat, or he has some potential to be likable by both sides of the aisle. Okay, fine. You can bring a guest to the State of the Union. And who does this guy bring? He brings a young girl who was victimized by Epstein, but also managed to recruit plenty of young other women, her friends, young girls, for him. A huge amount of them. Now, maybe she was a victim. It's questionable what she did, but this is who you bring to the State of the Union to make what kind of point? So his point is, these women were victimized by Epstein. No shit, buddy. That happened during Democratic rule, during Democratic presidents. This is who he brings to the State of the Union. Makes some sort of point to Trump, who's like, I know he did this. So I don't even understand their retaliation or resistance sometimes. What's your point? Why would you bring somebody like that to this? What are you trying? And the beauty of it is, the comments of the people was, nobody even cared. Trump didn't even care.
Yeah. Interesting.
They wanted to bring victims of Epstein to rub it in Trump's face. I'm like, why? He didn't do anything to these people.
So speaking of Epstein stuff, Bill Gates finally comes clean, Ma. After 2 years ago, and I didn't know the guy, I'd never been to the island. He comes clean and he says, I had 2 affairs, right? And both with Russians, one being a bridge player that he played bridge with, which, I mean, I believe it just because that's so crazy. And the other one was, I forget, some other Russian lady. But this kind of goes to show, right, the one thing about the medication, giving his wife the medication, right? That was the STD or UTI that he got from a Russian in that email. So it kind of goes to show that email must have been true, that he denied and denied and denied, and now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
even though I've lied to you several times, you can believe me now,
yeah.
right?
And I think he came clean
Somebody.
to his employees at Microsoft, and then news picked it up. It's not like he did it to the world. So I think he
Chris, I
said it in
wouldn't
front of like
trust
the
a word
board.
that comes out of his mouth. I wouldn't trust a word only because it doesn't warrant it. He first
Yeah.
of all, at this point, who cares? I don't care. Either these young women should prosecute them or move on. But on top of it, buddy, keeps you were adamant that we went from I've never been there to yeah, okay, it happened. It was Russians. Now he's trying to tell me it wasn't an underage girl. It wasn't a prostitute.
Well, yeah,
It's
he's
like,
saying
buddy,
he's saying that he hasn't been to the island. He's saying that this was overseas playing bridge. Again, don't believe it, but that's how much he's come out. Like that's as much as he said so far. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just it's one, it's gross, and two, like I feel like his wife didn't get enough money out of the divorce. That's all I'm saying.
well, and you know what? It's a moot point now because now they get to chew over Hillary's testimony from 2 days ago and Bill Clinton's from yesterday.
I don't have
Okay,
a
so when that
yeah, I don't have anything on that, but it wasn't as much as as far as I hear from podcasters, streamers, whatever. It was kind of a big nothing burger, right? They were just like, yeah, Trump's got nothing to do with it, right? They didn't out him or anything, and Clinton goes, okay, yeah, we knew the guy, I regret it, and that was pretty much it.
oh
Right?
no, Bill Clinton said I knew nothing about any criminal activity.
Right, but
Okay, so right there, we're right back with Bill Gates. Believe me, believe me, believe me. Oh, I lied, but believe me, believe. You know what I mean? It's like you can't trust anything that comes out of it. A reporter asked after Hillary Clinton did a press conference after, and said, "Oh, you didn't?" She said she never even met Ghislaine Maxwell. Doesn't even know her, right?
right,
Even
but
though
she was
there are
at the
pictures of
wedding.
her with her.
Yeah, she was at their daughter's
Right.
wedding.
Since
Yeah.
it wasn't at your daughter's wedding. Oh, she was a +1 for somebody. Okay.
Okay,
Oh, come on. That's what I'm saying. We'll see what the
it's possible,
actual issue
but
is.
it's possible, but I
Well,
doubt it.
see, Hillary freaked out. Now, if you recall, they didn't want to come and testify in closed session. The Clintons wanted it televised. Okay. It wound up being closed because the committee said we're not doing it, turning into a circus. Okay. So Lauren Boebert, not my favorite person, but she, I guess, took a picture of it and released it of what was going on. And I guess Hillary flipped out because there was a picture of Bill Clinton in the bathtub or whatever with not the bathtub, the swimming pool. Anyhow, Hillary gets so crazy. The lawyers, they leave the room. Whole big thing about she has no right to take pictures, blah, blah, blah. And Boebert even said they wanted this televised, right? I'm releasing a
Yeah,
picture
they
from
wanted to
what's
tell.
going on.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Stuff
all of a
that's to
sudden
the
now she
public.
wants it
Yeah.
private? Right. It's like, make up your mind. What do you want? It's just kind of like a shit show once again. But it's more about let's see how many lies or truths that can be proven from
I
it.
was just surprised that they didn't try and bring Trump down in it. Right? Like they literally said, does Trump have any ties? And they said, no, we don't know of any ties between him and Epstein. Even if they're already lying, you might as well throw that one in.
Well, I saw a headline too, and I didn't bring it because I didn't read the story and I don't know the source of it, but it said during their depositions, both Hillary and Bill, I forget how they put it, vaguely said or kind of alluded to the fact that they didn't think he committed suicide either.
Oh, really? Wow. Huh.
Can't tell you it's a true bombshell. I just saw a headline about it. But, let's see. They're going to release these testimonies in a certain period of time. I forget what it was. Either online or on TV. I don't know what. To see how they responded to certain questions. It sounded like she was far more animated about things than he was.
Tim Dillon said it best. Like she's just he just said she's a big nothing burger. Like he expected so much more out of Hillary. Animated, that's like the complete opposite of what I've heard from not just Tim Dillon but other people. People thought it was boring and a big nothing burger.
She's got a nasty side to her.
Oh,
you
100%.
can trigger her.
Yeah.
She's got a trigger side. And my feeling too is I'm less concerned about the Epstein stuff other than, when you're a prosecutor, you like to demonstrate that somebody can lie. Lie to your face. So when you ask them about important stuff, you can say, hey, but why would we believe you now? You lied before. I want to know about that foundation. I think that foundation is the real viper pit, the Clinton Foundation. And only because I think it's been alleged that it was used. She gave favors away to individuals for money into her account as Secretary of State, and that is treasonous, basically, if it were true.
Right.
So I want to know what that foundation's about.
All right, let's get into the next one that you have here, which is 30-year-olds, which come on Twitter, load.
Oh, I want your opinion on this. So I watched the video of it. Obviously, I laughed because I'm like, okay, but you may not be the best person to talk about why people aren't dating today.
Uh-oh.
But he had a good point about young people. He said the reason why nobody's, going out, nobody's meeting people, childless, not having families is because of this age, and I'm paraphrasing, of social media. Everything you do when you go out is videotaped or posted. It's like you're on display as soon as you're out there. If you're dancing, you get posted. If you do this, blah blah blah. He just kind of made it seem like nobody wants to expose themselves to that. It's just not the same environment where you can make a mistake or screw up anymore and walk away. It haunts you.
I didn't watch this. I should, but
It's short. It's interesting.
Yeah, we can watch it together if you want.
I'm 30 years
2
old.
minutes.
Not one of my
you're
friends
running out of
has
time.
children. Zero. No one. No one's having kids. Do you know how hard you need to abuse a mammal to make them not have children? Like, look, GDP goes up. People have have enough food, and whatever. No one's having kids, and this is across the world. This is across both the West, the East, everywhere. It's happening.
Who is
so
it?
why do I not have kids? And the answer to that is I don't really know. This is the weird thing. So there's a thing that happens, especially with younger even younger than me. Like the kids are like 18 today. There's a huge problem where they don't dance. No one dances. They go to clubs and they don't dance. Why is this? Because you get recorded.
Yeah.
If you're an 18-year-old kid, you go to a club, you get recorded. If you approach a girl and you mess it up, you get recorded. Everything
Okay,
is
so
synoptic.
I knew that was gonna
So
be in
if
here.
you had
That
to
is
ask
true.
me why, my answer is technology. My answer is social media. My answer is AI. My answer is algorithms. I think there's a deep thing where we as a society have not dealt with the fact that we have to steward technology responsibly. We have treated technology as a Wild West.
Absolutely.
Just everyone can do whatever they want. Just sell all of our younger generation's dating lives to corporations for profit. And who pays the cost for this? Who has liability? For every person who doesn't find the love of their life because the whole dating market's fucked up, who pays for this? No one. There is no responsibility.
So research shows that fertility is several things. It is technology. It's also the economy, so it's a lot more expensive. To some extent, it's also women getting more into education, which is a good thing. It's also pollution. So sperm counts have dropped 50%. They have halved over the past few decades, and we think it's because of industrial pollution.
Okay, so
all of
I
this goes
kind
back
of
to-
get the gist.
Right.
So I agree with in the sense of yes, everything. It depends. If you go to Miami, you're going to be recorded. If I go in New Bern, you're probably not going to get recorded. So that's kind of a tough statement. The one that I do agree with the most, though, is the dating apps. You and I have talked about it on podcasts before, and I was just talking to a friend's mom about it, who's in her early 50s. Like these dating apps, it's one guy talking to 30 women, and then women who have too many matches can't keep up with the amount of guys, and they just give up. Right? Like they realize all these guys are here for the same thing. So you're too lazy to go out because what ends up happening is you get, like, let's say from the guy's perspective, you're too afraid to take your chance, like to approach someone because they might, like, what's the word? Make fun of you. Like, there's no such thing as just
Reject you.
Yeah, rejection, but like in the sense of like rejection's one thing, but when they make a spectacle out of it, it's like, oh, let me record this guy trying to ask me out. It's like, okay, well, now so I do agree with him on that point. The economy and whatnot, that's a factor too, but we're just trying to get dates. We're not even talking about kids yet, right? So I think the dating apps have really messed up dating in general, and then obviously the social media, especially now. Right now, I would say that we are in. This is like the worst time on the internet, from like a, what's like, well, oh shoot, I just had the word in my head. Worst time in the sense of everything is shock value, right? If it's not shock value, it's not going to get famous. So women know they're going to get more. And I'm not saying this happens often, but I'm just saying like this is like one of the biggest things on the internet that Kenny and Mike follow. And this is that shit that just I could not care less about. Some like ASU frat kid is like the #1 streamer right now, and it's called looks maxing and blah blah blah. Like it's the gayest thing I've ever seen. These kids are losers, right? They're college kids that are in good shape, good looking dudes, but like, okay, You can't, like, this has a shelf life, right? So
Right.
you, if that's what's getting views, the next generation is just cooked. Like, there's nothing. The pendulum has to swing somewhere. But we're at the point right now where everything, especially my generation, I don't think it's going to be easy to find a relationship unless you're like extremely good looking, or it's through dating apps.
Well, I think based on what he's saying, and we know that's not the only thing, but he did bring a different perspective to me where I'm like, yeah, that's true. And I'm going to go on a limb and say it's probably worse for guys than for women.
Absolutely.
Only because I feel like, given the environment, it's okay to mock guys online, but don't do it to a woman because
Sure.
that's sexist, that's race, whatever. And that's just my gut feel. I'm not trying to make a point that men or women or
Right.
whatever. I could see that being the environment. I could see more women using social media because women tend to be, not all women, but tend to be more passive aggressive. And they use things like that to maybe not get back at people, but share with their girlfriends, whatever. And people don't understand that this is online. Like, this isn't just, now we have this mentality that, well, everybody does it now because everybody's online. So it's okay to
Yeah,
hurt
it's
people's
kind
feelings. I'm
of
like,
true.
that's not
Yeah.
right.
The other one
Right.
that's kind of weird to me is, and let me take it the other way, is I know people that are in relationships with men or women they shouldn't be, but they don't go out and find someone else because they don't think they can, right? They would rather settle for less than go through the process of getting back on the dating apps, trying to find someone. And
But Christopher,
that's
hold on
ugly.
though, that's universal. That's been around since
Sure.
the dawn of time, where women married because they wanted to settle down. It
Sure.
didn't matter who the guy was, or their parents picked somebody for them, or if you didn't have somebody to marry by the time you graduated high school, there was something wrong. You were
Right,
panicking,
right.
because what am I going to do? No man wants me.
But this
That's
is
always been the case.
This is the difference though. Now it's not like, let me jump into another relationship right away, which I would never recommend. Don't do that. But now it's like, oh, I broke up with my boyfriend or girlfriend. I've been looking for someone for 2 years, right? And I'm in my mid-30s. So it's like that time gap, because everyone's on dating apps now, and usually I've never met anyone that's had like a long-term relationship from like Tinder,
Hold on, but this is what I'm saying. For since the dawn of time, men and women have gotten together without social media. They interacted because they had to in
Right.
the town square, at the marketplace,
don't really
or whatever,
have that
or their
anymore.
parents or their families, whatever, the village. They've been able to do it. I think we've been manipulated into thinking, or so much of it has been impacted by social media, that even something so simple as, Thursday night was always a big happy hour night. Everybody from work, especially single people, would go out after work and get a drink and happy hour. The drinks were cheap. You socialized. You may not meet the person of your dreams, but you met people who knew people who knew people.
Right.
Human beings are social animals. We're supposed to be that way. If not, you know what happens? We get depressed.
Yeah.
Sound familiar?
I don't think
We need to interact.
I've come to realize I don't think dating apps themselves are inherently bad. I think it's just the specific dating apps in America that allow you to talk to 20 different people at once and give them false hopes, for instance. I think that's the problem. I think the way those are designed, I think if they design a dating app, which I know it's kind of off topic because this guy, I'm talking about the topic of kids, relationships, not going out and meeting people. You have to have a dating app that's like designed so that you can really focus on one person and get to know them and see if it works or not. Because if you're talking to 20 different people and you can't put your time and effort into that one person, I just don't think you're kind of wasting your time. Like, if you can't put 100% into that person and you're separating it with 50 other people or whatever it is. Because I know some guys on these dating apps that do pretty well who they're like, I can only talk to this many girls in one day and another set of girls the next day because they have so many people to talk to. I'm like, dude, this isn't good. Like, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's
and he only knows half their names. It's like, hey, if you don't even know their name, like, what's the point of this? right?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't think it's just a guy thing either. I think a lot of girls they go for the quick hit. They know in 2 seconds if they like the guy or not, and they move on.
Right.
Which
I
again,
will
you do
say,
that at a bar. You could do that at a bar when
right.
you meet people, and sometimes you go every week. You see the same people. You see them over and over
Yeah,
again.
like I'll say this,
Not
like
into you, move on.
you know, growing up, I always thought it was like women that were, I guess, superficial is kind of the right word in the sense of like I thought they would care more about the attention. I will say this: every female I know who uses dating apps still, they go like the second a guy like doesn't respond within an hour, they're done. They're on to the next one, which isn't exactly a good thing, but the guys I know, it could be they could have all the red flags and they'll keep them around for months at a time and then go, I'm done with this one. Guys like the
Right.
attention on the dating apps. I don't like dating apps. I don't consider social media, but women like they can cut people out easily. So it's very
Yeah,
strange how that works.
I don't, I think that's a generalization. I mean, traditionally, men tend not to be as invested early. Like to your point with your friends, they have multiple people they know. They haven't chosen one because you know,
Sure.
they don't feel that need yet, if you will. Whereas women want to get to the point. That's always been traditionally the case. But I know some or I've heard of other young women who have the same opinion you do, feel the same way. They don't even do the dating apps anymore. They found them pointless because it was usually just one night stands and they weren't looking for that. Or it was, why am I wasting another week going on another day? And then there are others, and they tend to be older women that I know who have been on it who they're like, I don't waste time. I know exactly what I want. And by the way, the older gentlemen, men are usually the same way. So there's a certain amount of maturity to it's very different
Oh,
for an
see,
18-year-old to go on a dating app.
so what's interesting is I was just talking to someone who's in her mid 50s who's on dating apps, and she
Uh-huh.
said the complete opposite. Like most of these men don't have their shit together at 50, mid 40s. It's like if you and she brought up a good point. If
Oh,
you're in your
yeah.
mid 40s and don't have kids, there's probably something wrong with you. And I was thinking about this at the table. I was like, well, right now, like as this lady was talking about, the fertility rates are at the lowest. I wonder if this is going to be the generation where 40 without kids is normal. Right? That's a scary thought.
You talk about yourself, though, that individual, the declining birth rates have gone on it started long before
Right.
you were even old enough to date. You're
Right.
just happen to be at an age now where, so
It's the
this is
lowest
something that's
ever.
been progressively being a problem. We've talked about TRT levels and whatnot because she talked about fertility rates. There's a lot of stuff that's going on, and it's not just social media. And you're right. There are a lot of even the men and or women, at least as they mature though, and they go into these dating apps, it's I know what I want, I'm getting it, I'm doing it. And that could
Right.
mean they're very
But
immature.
also,
They only want
yeah.
a transient relationship.
Right. I
in
will
the
also
50s.
say that certain dating apps are just like they're called dating apps, but everyone knows people aren't on there to date. So like Tinder, for
Right.
instance,
Right.
no one's on Tinder to date someone. Same with Bumble. Hinge is a little better because you actually have to like talk to people, I believe. Whereas I have friends who've met on Facebook dating. I didn't even know Facebook dating was a thing. Like I didn't know that's how that worked. So yeah, that's what I mean.
I think it's like anything else. I mean, it's like same situation as when we were younger. The more bars you went to, you meet different faces. You go to a new
Sure.
town, you meet new faces. People don't go in offices anymore. Many people work from home now, especially young people. So they're not meeting people walking to work or in the elevator from another company, blah, blah, blah. A woman years ago had talked about, she wrote a whole article about how young girls, if you're smart, meet your mate when you're in college. Oh, she had such backlash. Every feminist out there, are you kidding me? You're telling women they have to marry in college or they're done. Well, guess what? She was
Kind of right. Yeah. Now that I think
Yeah.
about it, yeah.
Right. That's why so many young women are now lamenting, oh, I can't find a man who has a career like
Whoa,
me.
hold
or
on. You
the
know what
same
I just thought
background as me."
about? I was just thinking about all the people I know that have been married, right? That I know if from Facebook, whatever. I don't think I know a single person who married someone that they didn't meet in college.
But they didn't meet in
Yeah.
college.
I can't
So
think
they
of
all met in
anyone.
college.
Yeah, they all met in college, and I have almost 2,000 friends on Facebook. So
There's something to be said for that.
yeah, that's actually very interesting. I've never thought of that. But
Yes,
yeah, I don't think
because
I have a single friend who's gotten married to someone outside of college.
Where her logic was, and it's true, there's no other time in your life that you're going to be kind of on an even playing field with this individual academically, to some extent, socioeconomically. You have similar interests in that you chose a similar school, and whether you're
Right.
involved in the same things or
Probably the
not, blah,
same
blah, blah.
major, maybe.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but it's more, you're kind of like in the same village, if you will, or you have
Yeah.
come from the same sort of, not exact background, but after that, it's like, phew, you're being shot out into space. And similar to your age group now it's randomly meeting people that may not have your same academic background, may not have your same, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just going to take a lot longer to weed through outer space versus the smaller community
Right.
of academia, which is, some people, they never meet anybody there. That's fine too. She just had a very interesting point. And now fast forward, that new dynamic of, you have more women now who are, and this will be true going forward. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but as more and more young men aren't going to college, they don't see the need, right?
Oh, that's a good point too. Yeah.
They're not going to be at the same academic level. Doesn't mean they're stupid, doesn't mean anything.
Right.
But for women who say, I want to be with a man who's at a certain level, has a certain career, certain this, certain that, good luck if you're not meeting them in college, because
Right.
out there, you may meet a lot of people who've never gone to college and may
So-
be very smart, but not classically smart.
Another big factor that I don't think this lady brings up is women in the workforce now, right? More women have
Yes.
jobs than ever, so they don't have the time
Yes.
for a relationship. So, which is kind of an arguable thing. Like, you can make if you have two people that work, I mean, that doesn't mean you can't have a relationship, but I think the independent woman has kind of become a little bit of a cancer to the dating world. I know I might get some shit for that, but yeah, I know women who, kind of like we talked about before, were on the dating apps, gave up and said, I'm just going to be alone, right? And I'm fine with that, which
Right.
isn't exactly the best answer either, in my opinion. I mean, you could do that, but I don't know. It's just, you can't be in your mid-40s and then go, man, I really want to be married and have a family. Like, it doesn't work that way. And unfortunately, I think the way we're going, that date just keeps getting pushed back and back. So,
Right.
yeah.
And there are a lot of women who were sold this, and unfortunately, backlashes on the dating scene, sold this kind of lie that you can have it all. You can't.
Yeah.
And then they were said, well, if you can't have it all, you don't need to be married. You could be successful on your own.
On
You
your
can even
own.
have your own family. And they get to the point where they're at that point, and and some men too, but they're like, this wasn't all it was cracked up to be. Well, now
yeah.
it's very hard to unring the bell.
I wouldn't be surprised if adoption goes through the roof in 10 years. Just because people are going to be at
Well,
they're gonna get,
surrogacy.
yeah, they're going to
A
get
lot of
married.
these women are
Yeah,
freezing
that's
their
good too.
eggs. This is
Yeah.
becoming a big business. They freeze their eggs, which that started even before you were born. There's
Right.
murmurings once we had that ability. Oh, guess what? A woman can have a career. Yes, that's true. But for men and women, not just the women, you may not want to have a kid in kindergarten when you're 45 years old.
Right. Yeah, it's not even fair to the kid. That's like De Niro with, like, he's, 80, and he just had a kid that's got to be a couple months old. Kid's not going to know
Right.
his dad passed high school. He's going to have distant memories of his dad. So,
Right. Or even if you live that long, you want to be in your 80s and your kid goes to college.
yeah, it's very strange.
It's a different dimension. Yeah.
All right, let's end it on a happy note. I'm going to have to cancel some of yours out, Mom, because it's
That's
already
fine.
an hour 12 in.
Oh, Punch the Monkey.
Do
Was
you
he
know
finally
Punch?
adopted?
Do you know Punch? He's gone
I know
viral this
Punch.
week. Punch the Monkey. Now, for those of you, again, who have been living under a rock, Punch is a little, he's like a little monkey in Japan who, they think that's like as big as he's going to get. He's not going to get any bigger because he's got like a bunch of,
How?
yeah, he's got a bunch of different health issues, I think, that stunted his growth, but he was not wanted by his mom. So he was
Yes.
rescued by the zoo, and he's trying to make friends, and he can't. So the only thing he has is this little toy, right? This little toy
Yep.
orangutan, which is adorable.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone loves this guy. But, again, cool and all. Some of the videos are tough to watch when he's getting bullied. He runs to this little toy all the time. But
Yeah.
IKEA makes this toy sold out. All over the world it is sold out. Yeah. So a meme coin of Punch has been made, which has a market cap of $30 million right now. And they have overcumbered the zoo. So they have to limit how many people can come to the zoo every day in Japan. because of how much tourism this monkey's bringing.
I thought he was adopted though eventually by one of the monkeys.
I
Did
don't
somebody take
know
him
if
with him?
that's true. It's
Oh.
kind of a weird. One day he's getting bullied, the next day he's not. It kind of goes back and forth. But
Yeah.
Punch is adorable. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
But Mom, I was at the gym and this lady came up to. I shouldn't say she came up to me because we were talking about stuff, and she just goes, "Do you know who Punch the monkey is?" Just out of nowhere, I was like, "Yeah." She gave me the whole rundown on this. I was like, "You know a little too much about this, and it's Tuesday. We just found about him 2 days ago." So little Punch is. I mean, he is cute. He's like this big, maybe.
Yeah, he's
Really tiny. So, and it's just so cute how he always runs to his orangutan. Always.
Yeah.
Like that's his mom, and everyone's like, "Oh," but the zoo only allows a certain number of people, and people will wait hours outside just to get into the zoo to see Punch.
Right.
They couldn't care less
Well,
about
that's-
any of the other animals.
Not for anything, but look at look at his enclosure. That is pretty soft to lay on, whether you love that orangutan
Yeah.
or not. He's looking at concrete if he's not laying on that toy.
Yeah, really. But yeah.
I'm sure it's nicer than that. But
All right, mother.
all right, come on, Punch. Find a mom.
Yeah, I
Punch.
hope
Somebody
so.
adopt Punch.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of people that have tried to buy him is insane. Like obviously a zoo, you can't pay for it, but the bidding war that they are getting for this monkey is insane. So, yeah, it's a phenomenon. Hey, but you know what? I'll say this: a little light of happiness in the world right now. I'll take
Yeah.
it. One thing that brings everyone together: Punch the monkey. He's like the opposite of Harambe. Harambe is when everything went downhill.
Well, you know what you need? Usually, unfortunately, you find a female where the baby died, and she's looking for something to nurse, like it's their nature.
Oh yeah.
If you do that with Punch, she might take to Punch because they, psychologically they're looking for something to fulfill what they lost, and monkeys tend to be very empathetic that way.
Right.
So it would be nice if they could find something like that, like heal two macaws at the same time.
All right, Mama. We just did an hour and 15. Yeah. So
seemed longer.
it was a good week of news. We had a couple more that we can probably push to next week, but yeah, we can end it there. The only things I have to promote, obviously, we had the podcast last week, so go check that out. It's on Spotify as well. I posted some of the Lego build. I've been posting the Niho 3 walkthrough for those of you that need help with it. It's doing pretty well, so go check those out. We started Resident Evil Requiem, came out yesterday, Mom, the new one after. It's phenomenal.
Oh,
So, yeah, it was really good. Can't wait to play it on Monday. Oh, wait, I'm basically not here all of next week because you're coming and then Uncle's coming. So, hey, way to screw the one time I said.
Oh, come on. You can
I've
still
been
play the
waiting
game.
years for this. I can't. Yeah, I'll stream. I might have to stream just because I don't want to be too
Yeah,
far
you
behind.
have our listeners thinking you sit and entertain me the whole time.
This is
Baloney.
true. My mom makes me sit there.
Baloney.
I'm her Punch the monkey. She's like,
Oh,
dance.
baloney.
Dance
come
for me,
on.
monkey. And my mom's just sitting there with a belt.
Yeah. You sit in your office with your headset on, and every time I ask you something, you're like, what? Put the thing up here. What? Yeah. Like you're
Anyway.
entertaining me the
Hey,
whole time.
Mom, stop embarrassing me in front of my viewers. You're embarrassing me.
Ma.
Yeah.
Ma,
all right.
love Ma.
Social media, promo code, Streamlinks, Discord, and I will see you guys hopefully sometime during the week. As long as my mom doesn't freaking make me entertain her. All right. Bye, guys.